Loading Screen is brought to you by Mike and Ike. Welcome to Loading Screen, where we know exactly what we're doing.
Your taste sucks. That movie was bad.
I like
anyway. Five. There you go. Yeah, we're back.
You might have to refer to me as Captain, Alex.
Lady, oh wow!
Said, let there be lights.
You made it just in time. Literally right before we transitioned over to ourselves, I was like, "Yo, Alex, you're still in the dark, right?" Like that.
Bam!
And then he was like, "Oh, my lights aren't on." Yeah, they're not. Welcome everyone to Loading Screen. This is of course your morning gaming podcast to cue your day up with. I'm of course Dre, aka Crash, and with me I've got Alex, aka Search for Alex. I don't know why that says Ali. I just noticed it uploaded the wrong tag. We haven't had Ali on here for a minute.
This isn't what Ali sounds like, but this is my girl voice.
Okay. Well, while that's going on, what's going on, Alex? It's second show of the year. I know we're gonna be getting into more of the games that we're gonna be looking forward to. But how's your week been?
It's been chilling, man. Been really busy. Continuing playing Cyberpunk on Fantasy, obviously, and Fallen Order. Getting to some juicy parts in Fallen Order, not Falling Order.
It already fell. It's already done.
They have already
it's
fallen,
on the ground.
Yes.
We tripped them. Life alert.
Yes. But yeah, no, I mean, everything, chilling, normal week, thank God. Yeah. Well, kind of a normal.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
not really, actually,
normal,
not a normal week at all.
It's quite a wild week as it is. I mean, we made it 7 days. We made it almost a week into 2021. I'm already looking forward to 2022. It's
what's crazy is
that quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people, and I kind of talked about this last night on my stream. It's like, just because I feel like people legitimately expected bad things to stop happening on January 1st. Like, no.
Yeah. It was just like, cut off. Yeah, we're good. It's like, nah, dog. That's not how it works.
But we kind of talked about it in the show on Tuesday. It was a good year for gamers, and I think this year is going to be the same thing. Like, people are going to look to video games to kind of console themselves. Is that the right way to use that? Find consolation?
Something like that. An escape is what I usually call it. I think that's the
let's just use normal words.
Yeah. So with that, we kind of alluded to it on last week's show, of course, that we wanted to kind of really take a gander as to what 2021 is going to hold for us in terms of games, because I mean we already got the consoles, or some of us do. Most of us, I don't know. I haven't really kind of put a feeler out as to how many people are still really hankering for the PS5s and the Xbox Series X. I know we just reported on those retrofitted looking ones that are going on sale or are about to go on sale tomorrow. Which it's still if your risk factor is acceptable, then you can go ahead and cop one. But if not, then you're still you're up a certain creek with
guys. It's okay.
Things.
I've touched my PlayStation 5 maybe a total of 9 days since I've had it. So if you got a PC, you'll survive.
Yeah. I think that's the moral of the story, is that you should just go PC. All right. Regardless of whatever hardware you have, it is no good to you if you don't have software. So let's just jump into some of the gaming news that we have for you guys today. With that, it's going to take a look at some of the bigger releases 2021 that we're looking to get into this year. And we'll just start off real quick. Hitman 3 is one that I'm actually excited for. It's been quite a while for me since I really dove into a Hitman game like that. I think the last version of I know there was Hitman 2, then it got re-released, but it was a 2018 release. And for those that know what the Hitman series is, it's right up the alley as to those that are that tend to do the stealth route when it comes to your RPG games, or maybe in Cyberpunk. I do a lot of stealth.
And this one looks incredible from the trailers we've seen.
Yes, from the trailers. I have not, but here's the thing. I'm gonna keep it 100. I have not followed through on keeping. I have not kept up with like games in terms of like gameplay, like as hardcore as I usually do. Only because like it's been a very turbulent year for me. So right now it's like before I know it, games are coming out. I'm like, oh yeah, that game's coming out. Like this actually surprised me. This made my January already better, knowing that Hitman 3 is coming out this month. Yeah. But like this is another example. Even more is the fact that the Medium, which we have covered in this show plenty of times, is coming out this month.
You're excited for this? Because I am.
Absolutely, especially from that last trailer that they dropped, where we're seeing even more of the story, or kind of, we got to see some really interesting cutscenes in there. We're starting to get a glimpse of the story even more. Got me excited.
So this is interesting right here. The Medium's next-gen horror game with unique hook renders two versions of the game world simultaneously, allowing players to switch seamlessly. So this is from the and you're really familiar with the Resident Evil series. This is from the same people?
No, this is Blueprint.
No,
this
Silent Hill.
I'm about to say, and I don't know where Resident Evil's coming in, but yeah, Silent Hill, the only people that are coming from that is Akira Yamaoka, which was the composer for the music for Silent Hill. Silent Hill. That's okay. I don't think I've had my coffee this morning. My coffee's literally on the stove right now, waiting for me to go get it. But yeah, but that's only like one bit of it. Like the gameplay, the design behind it, the whole kind of, you do something in one world that affects the other. It isn't new. It's kind of been a staple for a lot of, say, like Nintendo games and certain franchises, Legend of Zelda, from Link to the Past to Link Between Worlds, Metroid Prime. I think it was Metroid Prime 2. Had light world, dark world aspects to it, that you did something in one world. It's a known mechanic that keeps getting, I want to say, more finalized, not finalized, more like mastered, more optimized. This is just another version of it that could work, especially in a horror theme, which, like I said, looks really, really good. And then, like I said, layer that with Yamaoka's, music that he's going to compose for it. It's just going to be... Halloween's going to come early.
Nice thriller, dude. Yeah, I'm excited.
Straight up. Halloween's going to come early. What else is coming out? I think this is just all January in the beginning here. Actually, no. There we go. February, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, which, it's just 4-player co-op. Good stuff.
Let me ask you this. The games, there's a crap ton of games on this list. What games kind of stick out to you, that are coming out this year? Obviously the big ones that stick out to me, but are you going to play Deathloop? Deathloop's coming out.
Deathloop, you know what, jury's out. The trailer has not hooked me. It has interested me, so I guess you could say it has hooked me. But until I get, like I said, more gameplay to look at and really understand what I'm getting into, because the trailer, you can get easily sold on a trailer, and then you have the game and it's not what you expect it to be. A trailer is just supposed to just hook you. Then the gameplay should be good. If the gameplay is ass, then who cares if the trailer was good? Right, we've had many instances of that happening in the past. I have been scorned one too many times to put myself out there. I'm not ready for that kind of relationship. I can't trust that easily. Anyway, but the concept is interesting. I love the presentation. So those are ways to get me. But like I said, I'm not hooked 100% yet. Yeah. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for more gameplay. I'm waiting to see what I will be getting myself into, really. So I kind of need to sit back and really kind of analyze it a little bit more. But it's on my radar for sure, because it made such a big splash when it announced, right? It was very unique.
Right.
Like I said, the trailer did its job as to getting people to look at it. And plus it's on PC,
is that Obsidian, Bethesda? I thought it was.
I cannot remember TBH on that one. But what I do remember is Far Cry 6 is also slated to come out. And
we're like Far Cry Giancarlo Esposito, the man.
Yeah, you can't get any better than this man. You got him as a villain. it's
Dude,
already
best villain
it's already
ever.
a win. It is already a
exactly.
win.
Yeah.
So Far Cry 6, and it's, I hope it locks me in more than 5 did. 5 was good, but like, I was like, it was one of those one and dones for me. And this one, I'm hoping gets me hooked longer. But I mean, it looks pretty wild. But
Little fun fact. Yesterday, with all the bullshit that was happening, yesterday Far Cry 5 was trending.
Oh, Far Cry 5, yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I'll say. But you can connect. Anyway.
Connect the dots
okay.
there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for Far Cry. It's one of those games where I think it coming out in May will be better. Because I forget why I stopped playing it last year. I never finished Far Cry 5. I liked it, but I never finished it. I think honestly, the villain in this one might have me like wanting to play more of it. Because he's just, dude, he's so good. And when I saw him in, never mind. I don't want to spoil anything. Mandalorian season 2, he's in the cast. I'll just say that.
We all know that. That's common. That's pretty common news. They ended
well,
season 1 with him.
So I mean, he's so good, man. I'm so excited.
Gus is not to be messed with. So Back for Blood is interesting. I haven't looked at gameplay, but I have literally been in. Okay, excuse me. I have seen gameplay because it's basically Left 4 Dead. But I have literally been in a Discord room where other people are literally playing in the beta and they're like commenting over Discord, and I'm just hearing all this and I'm like, what is going on? Like, this is the game.
Really?
Very much Left 4 Dead vibes. You know, if you played that game, you'll get the same kind of feel there. There are definitely differences to it, of course, to kind of differentiate. Otherwise, it would just be called Left 4 Dead 3.
Right.
And then Valve will promptly sue you if it wasn't made by them. But it's got me interested only because I just want to see more of the gameplay and get a feel for it and see how much of the formula they've been able to copy. And then on top of the formula, you know, how much of it have they been able to, you know, add to it and make it their own. So I'm interested there.
Left 4 Dead's got a very loyal fan base, so I feel like this game will do well.
Extremely. I mean, it's been over a decade, I think, since Left 4 Dead 2. Or I think it has been a decade, something like that. Oh, yeah. Mods, game, you know, custom maps, it goes for days. It goes for days. Matter of fact, I think it's actually coming up soon, or it's definitely in the AGDQ rotation for sure right now. So it's definitely being played this year. So lights are definitely still on it. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, you know what? You know, I am in the minority where Mass Effect did not hit me as hard. And I didn't finish 3, but I thought 3 was pretty not needed. But that's my own opinion there. It's a good series. It's just okay. Well, I mean, if you don't have it still like living somewhere, or you don't have you don't want to bring out your retro console. I say retro console, but it's, you know, a 360 game. If you don't want to bring out an old dusty console to play it, I mean, you get an updated version that's coming out in spring 2021 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So,
dude, people are yonkers over that game and that trilogy. I only played a little bit of 2 and 3, and I'll be honest, I don't do well with games that don't age well. So I might actually jump into that. New World is one that I've seen people play, and I'll be honest, dude, it is not attractive to me whatsoever. It literally just looks like Ark. Ark graphics, Ark style graphics, where everything kind of looks clunky.
Yeah.
It was in beta when everybody was playing it. Like, I know Summit played it for a while. And I'll be honest, dude, it just does not look good at all to me.
Plus, we've got Ark with Vin Diesel coming up. Why would you want to play anything else?
Yeah, why would you? Oh, The Forest 2.
The Ark of the Furious.
I know I sent you that. That's not on here. That's not on here. But I sent you the trailer of it. You ever played the original Forest? We don't have to go into detail with this, but you ever play the original Forest?
I don't remember The Forest, to be honest.
I wonder if do you like crafting games, crafting survival games? Anyway, it's a very fun game. You kind of like your plane crashes on an island. You're with your dad. You lose your dad. The island is inhabited by these creatures and stuff. It's kind of like a survival sandbox horror game. It's interesting. But Forest 2, guys, that's coming out soon too. And I think you guys should check it out because it's nice, smooth. Dre just dropped his pen for those guys listening on podcast. And again, should have had that popcorn. But yeah, no, it looks really fun. The graphics, the engine has only improved. It looks great. So speaking of things that have improved,
I mean, Halo Infinite, not much more to really put out there. That's all you have to say.
Well,
Halo
I think the key thing there is Halo
that
Infinite.
It releases.
You know, obviously, yeah. Well, it releases, but with they upgraded the graphics immensely already, and those pictures that you see there are just just show the improvements that they've made, and they look like it looks closer to Halo 5 now, which is good. Halo 5 looked really nice. But yeah, I mean, just good improvements on models and all that stuff.
Yeah,
environment.
Your ass is mine. That's what I say.
The one that looks interesting here, and I don't know if they're going to incorporate it in the game. I hope they do because that's just the technology now. Is if you go to the one with if you go to the one that shows the ring itself, keep going. That one. Obviously, there's reflections there. Hopefully they'll take full use of RTX and all that stuff, ray tracing.
Oh yeah. I mean, AAA games. If you don't have RTX on it, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you, last gen, bro?
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Horizon Forbidden West as well. At some point, not early 2021. This is going to be in the second half. I'm interested to see how they're going to take this story, how they're going to continue. Evil Dead, when that got announced, that I was super stoked, only because there's been so much drama in the background when it came to Ash, the character, and being Bruce Campbell returning to reprise the role in some way, shape, or form in Mortal Kombat 11, which is an ongoing rumor for the longest time. Then for this to come out, it's like, well, hey, if you have an itch for Ash and Evil Dead, then this is where it's at. Ghostwire Tokyo, of course, since the trailer and has been shown, it's been very interesting. I still want to go back and look on it. I kind of need a refresher, honestly, to see where it is.
You seemed interested in this when it
only because dude, it's Shinji Mikami. Like it states here, worked on such a thing such as the Evil Dead. Shinji Mikami also worked on Resident Evil and such. Devil May Cry, that's right up my alley for a lot of insane resume to have a new game come out, especially from the way it looked. So super stoked on that. God of War Ragnarok. I mean, not much more to say to that. I've been waiting for this sequel since I got done, with the game, with the 2018 version of the game when it dropped. Everyone has been hankering for it ever since that secret ending was kind of shown. Gotham Knights, of course, looks good. Not 100% sold. Arkham series is definitely very, very close to my heart. I like where they're going with this, but it being now a primarily co-op, or I think it's supposed to be primarily co-op, or it's gonna have a lot of it's definitely gonna have a lot of co-op pieces to it, whether with an AI or with a friend. I'm interested to see how they're gonna make that work out. No More Heroes 3. If you're a fan of the franchise, you know what I'm talking about. So can't wait for that. Psychonauts 2 as well. Resident Evil Village, dude. The list actually is starting to kind of go a little wild. This is more becoming, even Stalker 2. I'm actually pretty stoked to see. A lot of these games that are coming through, I am just getting more and more excited. 2021 is going to be a really good time to be playing some games. I think that's actually going to round out the list. But, yeah, man. Those are just some of the ones. I could go into also the indie ones and such, but we kind of have an entire show to do here, and it's just gonna get tied up on just the games that we're looking forward to. So we did talk about January releases, such as the medium and such that we're gonna be looking into. God of War Ragnarok. We were gonna post up, supposedly it's gonna be cross-gen, but this is coming from former director David Jaffe, who I didn't even know streamed. I don't know if you knew that he streamed.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, look at that. He actually streams. That's pretty cool because he was actually streaming God of War. For those who don't know, he was the director for God of War 2. He was, of course, involved in God of War 1. He hasn't touched the franchise since God of War 2. But he did talk about saying like he's sure it will be on PS4 and PS5. This is just coming from him. This is not confirmed. This is not an official announcement of it. So keep it, take it with a grain of grain of salt. I must be hungry. But PS4, PS5. I mean, God of War. Funny enough, the franchise has a reputation to push whatever console it's on or whatever platform it's on to a pretty far distance. If for those remember, even PS2, God of War 3 looked incredible, but the PlayStation was definitely sweating pretty hard. By the time that got out, it was at the end of the lifespan of that game. It was PlayStation 2. But no, was it 3 actually? What am I thinking? I think that was PS3. Sorry, I'm incorrect. That's PlayStation 3. What was I thinking? That was PS2. It was PS3. But still, same thing applies. That cell processor was sweating, and this one already looks incredible on the PlayStation 4. So then, for it to make the jump, and of course the graphical leap to PS5, but then still have a insane level of detail that's gonna make it look immaculate on the PS4 as a kind of a last hurrah, wouldn't be a bad way to go. And like I said, wouldn't be the first time it's happened. So looking forward to that. Amongst other rumors that are going on, Assassin's Creed next main title to come on, said to be in China. I read this instantly and I'm confused, because not confused, but I was like, okay, that's right, because we have already seen Assassin's Creed take place in China. But it was a side story, Assassin's Creed Chronicles. I believe it was on the DS, 3DS. It was not a mainstay of the actual franchise. It wasn't like a main series. But once again, this is just not a rumor, but really just statements that they would like to see a China, a main title game in China, which cool. Not confirming it, but those are directions that they want to go. I mean, after Valhalla, who knows where they're gonna want to go. China is one of the few ones that they haven't hit in the mainstay. Like I said, side stories are one, but to have it as a mainstay and actually seeing what that would look. Actually, I think, in my opinion, it would look like a very incredible game, especially if you have the power of a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox One X. Or Series X, excuse me. See, the naming schemes are getting me.
Still getting you.
It would look insane. Chinese architecture and such, how it would look, the design, the Oriental
Dude,
look.
I'm so excited.
It would actually kind of be a killer.
Yeah, and with the positive, so it's funny, like right around the time that Vikings was. It's funny. A few years ago, I called the Vikings thing. I was like, I guarantee you they're going to do a Vikings one at some point. And then as soon as Valhalla came out, I was like, I guarantee you the next one's going to take place in China, or Asia, right?
Yeah, people are hankering for Japan. Japan, a feudal, like
the architecture. Dude, I'm so excited because their engine for Assassin's Creed is gorgeous. The engine that they use, and I'm really excited for this because I mean, Ghost of Tsushima was received really well,
incredibly well,
and
yes.
So I feel like this will be received really well as well.
All right, so let me see. I think that's actually honestly all the news for gaming news.
Well, so I wanted
technically there is one more piece. We want to hit
the big piece,
the big elephant in the room, the big pog in the room.
Oh well, no, there's two. The Nintendo thing.
Oh, and
yes.
Then actually, you know what? Let's bring that up first before we kind of dive in. Even if we have, if we want to dive into that other piece, I know it's not news really to everyone, but do you have like do you have an actual article for this somewhere versus just like this
I do not. I just had that screenshot which I sent you.
Let me see if I can find it. But
yeah. So for those of you guys, and I was just scrolling across Twitter and found the screenshot, and with all this type of stuff, especially with Nintendo, you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt. Or a grain of rice, as Dre likes to say. But
not gonna let that go. All right.
But yeah, no, this is exciting, man. And I looked at this, and it's funny. The first person to say anything was you, right? And you're like, dude, this isn't real, right? Like, but like in looking at this stuff, it's kind of like it kind of seems a little real. Like the way things are laid out here, like the first thing, Nintendo Switch Pro. New consoles are out. Nintendo Switch came out, what, 3-4 years ago? Mm-hmm. It's kind of time for something like that. I could see that being a thing. Just another console to not get, right? Like, I mean, because of supply.
Yeah, I mean, people are, it's that time. It's that time where we're jumping into next gen. Nintendo, obviously, since the Wii has always kind of looked away from just worrying about the most current cutting edge graphics, right? They focus on gameplay and the experience, which has done very well for them with the Wii, not so much the Wii U, right? But then of course the Switch has also pioneered, well, for one, it's killed like their DS line, the Game Boy line, because it's portable, right? But the other side of it is that you're able to get these full experiences on the go, right? That's like an insane thing. Now, to make that already better, because it already does very well. The Switch does incredibly well. A Switch Pro makes sense to pack in as much, kind of upgrade it a little bit now. For those that want it, that need it, especially with supposed rumors of even games such as the Final Fantasy VII Remake supposedly coming to the Switch, which I'm like laughing really hard about, which I think is on this list actually, which is why I was laughing pretty hard, because I'm like, wow, 7 Remake on a Switch, like, but then seeing here saying Switch Pro, it's like, okay, that makes sense.
Well, you ready for this? Do you see cloud version available on base Nintendo Switch?
Yeah. I don't know.
Cloud streaming? Where did that come from?
Yeah, I even if it was true, I'm still not sold on, unless they have cracked the code to the main thing for me is latency of your controls, your responsiveness of sending a button press out to whatever cloud service you have out there for it to return in such a low amount of time that you don't notice it. Not sold yet. Resident Evil Remake kind of like special editions is kind of cool, or rather is Resident Evil 2, 3 Remake and Devil May Cry special edition on it. Is reminiscent of like the Capcom 5 deal they had a long time ago on the GameCube, where they ported over Resident Evil. They had Resident Evil 0. They had ported over, I believe it was 2 and 3, or it might have been just 3, or Code Veronica. You had Resident Evil 4, and then also brought it along. I forget what was the last one. I think it's like 13, Killer 13 or so, or Killer 7, excuse me. This is very reminiscent of that. It's not the first time we've seen a deal like this between Nintendo and Capcom. So this would make a lot of sense too, because these are titles that just have not graced Nintendo's console. So it would make sense.
It's gonna be weird. It's gonna
Capcom
be
will sell
crazy,
a
man.
lot. Will sell more units, and so will Nintendo. Yeah. This once again. This is all just rumorville. I could type this document up real quick
in some crazy font, make it look real,
and make it look like this. I don't know if this is definitely not Times New Roman. This is something else. But regardless, you can make this look as much as you want. Echoes of the Past. That's what people are tripping out about. This is supposed to be Breath of the Wild 2's actual title, which we are very much doing to getting an update. We got that release, Age of Calamity, on the Switch for Hyrule Warriors. So we got something. It's like, in the bucket, but it's like not what we wanted. It was the wrong bucket in the wrong place. But it was something.
I mean, listen, if a lot of this is believable, Splatoon 3, Super Mario Odyssey 2, Fire Emblem, like the naming convention makes it look believable, but why would they make it not believable, right? So if it is fake, if it's true,
we could dream, damn it,
bro. Yeah, if it's true, bro, we got an exciting 2021.
Yeah.
Like, not just with this, but like all the games we just talked about, like, holy.
But like, what I'm interested is like, so Nintendo Switch Pro, because the timing is what gets me. But at the same time, like I said, Nintendo is known to, while everyone's looking right, they'll look left and clearly go in the other direction, and they have no problems doing it. A 423 launch when we just had holiday season next gen, a part of me is like, that's kind of wild. But then again, if Ubisoft, not Ubisoft, if 343 Industries can delay Halo Infinite from meeting the biggest possible launch they could have possibly had, with it being a banger of a first generation of next gen consoles, being one of the first games for it. Nintendo could, I guess, opt out because it's not like they're trying to compete with PS5 and Xbox in that sense for graphics. They never have. They don't really care. So I guess, that whole idea, and also, whatever COVID probably affected this. If this is true, once again, these are just all speculations. I could see why it's such a weird timeline. You're just hitting it for next quarter to get those numbers up. Maybe we'll see. But
fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, also Metroid. I think it's already been confirmed. There's already another Metroid that's been in the works. We haven't had a Prime, Metroid Prime kind of mainstay console game in quite some time. We don't talk about the Metroid Marines game. That was just horrible. But there's as you can see, the list here. Funny enough, even if it was fake, it's like people have been hankering for it. People have been kind of up in arms, like, when's Nintendo gonna make moves on something like this? And it would be just to their benefit. So this really means a lot of this, even though it could be rumored, makes sense. It makes sense in each aspect that Nintendo would benefit greatly from any of these moves here. But we'll just have to see and find out what happens as we get closer to the supposed, 111, right? 4 days supposedly. But I mean, we haven't heard anything about a Nintendo Direct. I don't know if there's going to be an announcement that's going to happen like, oh yeah, today, tomorrow, the day after, the day before. By the way, it's happening. So yeah, we had one more article we wanted to kind of dive into. I'll just make it quick since I know we're at the end of our time here, and also because someone decided to remind me in the chat. For those, for one, hopefully anyone that's out in DC with the current issues that are happening, I hope you're safe. Keep yourself safe. It's all kinds of world 2021. It's like already starting off with a bang. PogChamp, of course, our Ryan Gutex. I forget what Ryan Elwood Gutex's last name is, but Gutierrez. There we go. Let's go with that. Formerly known as PogChamp, the face that everyone knows on the Twitch culture realm, slang, whatever you want to call it, has been removed due to just his actions, or rather his words that he's been speaking out publicly and his on his Twitter and such. And the thing for me is that for those that don't know the history, he has an extreme background in fighting games. I have met him on several occasions actually, and hung out with him. The guy has been a very interesting case over the past couple years. This is actually nothing new to anyone that's in the fighting game community. That Gutex has been all kinds of ways for a very long time now. This is just the latest action, and he's kind of been in a downward spiral. So yesterday, I guess, was just the straw that broke the camel's back, and Twitch took action and now has removed him from the global emotes list. Now there's mad petitions as to who's going to replace him, this, that, and the other. That's not really what we're going to take into here. It's just, putting it out there that, his actions have just caused that. I wish him the best of luck. Like I said, I know he's dealt with a lot of things. I hope he gets himself out of whatever rut and whatever mindset that puts him to say some of the most outlandish things that he could put out there. And I just find it funny that Twitch, acted on this so quickly versus like all the other impending issues that Twitch has. But I mean, it's a simple hey, yo, go into the bank of global emotes and just delete that picture. Add another number, break the path on it so no one ever sees it, right? Like, that's basically what went down. So, low hanging fruit in terms of fixing it, but I guess it gives them a high yielding impact because now, his actions or his words are no longer being reflected on the platform. Yeah, man,
One final piece of information before we jump off here, guys. For those of you probably know the PlayStation 5 controller and PS4 controllers are compatible with Steam. But for those of you guys that have Xbox controllers and or the Elite controllers with like the paddles on the back, Steam is in beta bringing support to those controllers for Steam. So something
extra functionality. Yeah, some more functionality to it, which is sick. I actually love big picture mode. I love the drivers that they have already embedded in it. Helps me like play things such as like, you know, custom made arcade arcade sticks and such that definitely don't run Microsoft or Sony boards. They'll run generic drivers on it, but it works perfectly fine, which is awesome. So good to see that they're supporting the next gen controls as well. Because I mean, I haven't messed with the Xbox One X controller. I was a fan of the Elite controllers, to be honest, because I love the weight, I love the feel of them. But I definitely need to get my hands on the Xbox Series X controls to see how that feels. The PS5, funny enough, when I had it, I had kind of feelings of like the Duke. I felt those kind of large for me, which was really weird. PlayStation controller is not really known for that, but yeah. But good on Valve for supporting the next gen of controllers for the next gen of gamers. And with that, guys, your loading is complete. Your day is queued up, and we're at the end of our show. I want to give a big shout outs to Mike and Ike, and of course MZipChair for supporting the show, and of course all of the tournaments and events here at NSG. We will be live once again next week on Tuesday. I got confused. I thought the medium was coming out this weekend. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play medium. No, that's not till later this month. We'll talk more about that then. I'm so excited for that coming out amongst the other games here in January.
Thinking a first impressions video, that'd be cool.
That'd be sick. All right, well, we'll see what we can do in the on the back end for that. In the meantime, I'm Dre, aka Crash. That's Alex, aka SirScrowlix. Make sure to follow him at SirScrowlix on Twitter and on Twitch. You can follow me at CrashTagVS. Follow Nursery Gamers at NERDST Gamers on Twitter to hear more updates on our games, shows, and gaming news, as well as our other shows, such as like Press 4 to Defuse, that I know they covered that new Valorant agent that got leaked. So if you're interested in that, make sure to go check them out. Once again, we'll be live next week. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. See you on Tuesday. You guys have a good weekend. Stay safe. Don't get too wild out there. Later.